Welcome to the inaugural Media and Mental Health Awards presented by the Entertainment Industries Council in collaboration with the Staunton Farm Foundation. Over the course of the evening, you'll see short clips of many stories that moved our hearts when we saw them. They made us think when we read them, and alternately, they made us shout for joy and shed tears of compassion when we heard them.
I am so excited to see so many people who care about the issue of behavioral health. And I'm not used to it, but I can get used to it. At this time when healthcare is such a huge part of our national discussion, it is important that we make sure that more attention is paid to mental health. The fact is that depression is the #1 disability in this country, and it is a co-traveler with every single other chronic illness. We cannot provide quality, integrated, holistic care without connecting the head to the rest of the body.
Thank you all for coming, and I really would like to applaud the Staunton Farm Foundation for hosting this locally, and for the Entertainment Industries Council and for what they do, and for all of you, because I think it is so important that we do, or you do, I should say, portray mental health in the proper way.
We deal with it. We deal with mental health issues, behavioral health issues on a daily basis in city government. You deal with it in the media when we don't respond to it early enough. When the issue becomes so great that it becomes a public safety issue. When the issue becomes so great that the 6 o'clock news is reporting. 90% of the time that you're dealing with those issues, you're actually reporting on a mental health disorder, not a criminal activity.
Again, thank you for allowing me to participate in any way that I can to be supportive in not only lifting this up from a media perspective, but lifting it up from a perspective of policy and culture change, because I think that's the only way we will ever be able to make a huge dent in these folks' lives.
The reality of what's going on here this evening is so unique in that it is not only media representatives and elected officials and stakeholders in the mental health issue, but it's truly people within this community who are willing to want to suit up, dress up, come out and support a critical issue that's affecting our entire country, which is the understanding of behavioral health.
The Television Community Affairs Program Award goes to David Solomon and Paul Ruggieri for their work on Long Road Home.
When these veterans came home, the war came home with them.
I think about it every day.
It's almost like a little movie right in your head that's playing over and over.
I think it's appropriate that the category is called community service. You think of service to the community and service to your country. This program details the stories of veterans who came home after fighting for our country with great emotional wounds. And here they are telling their stories in the hope of helping others, essentially serving their country yet again.
I am pleased to announce that this year's award for Best Television News Series goes to WTAE's Michelle Wright, Mike Lazorko, Tim Lowley, Terry Connell for the in-depth series, The Impact of Mental Illness in Pittsburgh and the Hope of Recovery.
People are sharing their own personal stories with me to let you know that you are not alone out there, and to let you know there is help to get you better so you don't have to suffer in silence.
When you think of the numbers, 1 in 4 people struggling with their mental health to some extent, you can see the urgent need for a frank discussion. Whether it's you, your family member, your coworker, your neighbor, we are all impacted in some way.
Putting together a 5-part series, as all of you in this room know, is not always easy. And so this really belongs to all the people who shared their stories with me, because putting a face on something that is so difficult to talk about, I really applaud their bravery to share their stories in public.
For Losing Lambert, a journey through survival and hope.
I hope the Lambert-Hillman story changes the way people look at mental illness and suicide. You know, that's the end of his story, the end of his his life. But for me, he goes on.
When they asked me to do this story, it was about giving families hope. I would like all of you to please stand. Please stand. I want to applaud you because you have given me hope. You have told me and have shown me there's a future, that someday we're going to find out what is causing mental illness and we can prevent this and we will no longer lose loved ones to suicide. All of you give me hope. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
I'm very grateful that you've chosen to recognize Joe Fahey's final but continuing contribution to journalism. Joe might have been the closest I've ever been to seeing St. Francis of Assisi with a notepad in his hand. He placed no importance in himself, but he laid great moral weight on any page that he touched. He was the reporter for the underdog, for the underprivileged. He was the reporter for the people many of us look away from on the street. Joe looked them straight in the eyes, and he saw all the way down to their hearts, and he told their stories.
I grew up in Northern Ohio. I traveled to LA, New York, live in DC. The people that I've met here, this is the closest I've been to home since I was 19 years old, and I'm 62. So I want to thank you and the values of the people of Pittsburgh and the southwestern Pennsylvania area are not only heartwarming, but are rejuvenating for at least a soul like myself. Thank you. And thank you.